Hello friends, how are you all doing? My name is Shaz, short for Shahrazad, and I love colorful makeup. Today I'm going to be doing another to buy or not to buy video for you all. In these videos I talk about makeup that has been released or has been announced recently, and I will tell you if I'm intending to pick anything up and generally my opinion on them. And I encourage you to write to me in the comments box below what your thoughts are on these releases. At the same time, I usually pick palettes to do makeup with from brands that are releasing something. And in this video, I'm going to use these two palettes. One from Juvia's Place that's releasing a very exciting small palette that I've already picked up. This is the inside of the palette I'm going to be using. And this palette is on the sale, on the Black Friday sale for $10 right now. And I'm going to use Gal on Moon from the Swedish indie brand called Gloss Gods. This is the inside of this palette. And I'm going to use these two palettes to make this eye look for you. If all of that sounds good to you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Now let's go into the video. I mentioned in a past video that I intend to remodel my space during Black Friday sales so that my beauty stuff is closer to where I film, and I managed to successfully do that. It's still in the process. I actually think I need a little bit more furniture for that, so I might order a couple of additional things in the upcoming weeks. So hopefully by January everything is done so that I can have everything within hand's reach. So now that I'm talking, I have a lot of my palettes and lip stuff literally over here, which is great because it used to be in a different room. So if I wanted to apply lipstick, I had to go get it from another location. But now all I have to do is just reach my hand. Another thing is, friends, I found pumpkin spice candle at Walmart. I ended up at Walmart randomly yesterday and I found the pumpkin spice candle there. So just letting you all know if that is something you've been looking for as well. I'm gonna jump in quick, starting to use Painterly on my eyes. The list today is not long, thankfully. I feel like what's going on is a lot of brands are still dealing with the Black Friday sales stuff, and some brands like MBA Cosmetics have even shut down their website to catch up with shipping. And honestly, I don't know how brands could even release things right now, because I imagine it's difficult to release things at the same time as having to deal with mailing out a lot of stuff, particularly that these are small brands. I do want to mention before I get into the list that I did a lot of shopping during Black Friday. This is probably going to be it, so that I will have time to catch up on all the videos that I want to make, unless something comes out that is just earth-shatteringly different. I'm probably not going to buy anything. But that doesn't mean I don't want to hear from you about what you're interested in buying. And that also doesn't mean that I don't love talking about makeup. In fact, if you don't know me, it's hard for me to shut up about makeup. So we will be talking about makeup regardless. I'm videoing on Sunday after Black Friday, and the sale is still going on, friends. So if there's anything you missed out on, the sale is still happening. A lot of brands, in fact, are having sale until like, I think December 1st, December 2nd. If I remember correctly, Terra Moons, for example, I think their sale is going until December 2nd. So there's still a chance if you missed out on that. I have a video on specifics of the sales. You can go watch it on my channel. A couple of items that I didn't mention in that video, or maybe these were not available at that point in time, is that Serenity Palette, friends, is back in stock, and at the moment you can even get it for 16 British pounds. The normal price is 20 British pounds, so you can go buy it, and I think the sale goes on until the end of the day today. I could be wrong, maybe it goes on after that, but I'm just guessing because it's Sunday of Black Friday. So if that is a palette you still haven't purchased, friends, that's the best palette this year. I have a video on it. I've used it multiple times in this channel, in that dedicated video as well as other videos. It's a great palette. Don't miss out. Another thing, friends, is that Beauty Bay is having this gigantic sale on their website. I think I forgot to mention it in my video about sales, and some of the specific items are on sale for less than half price. That palette, what's the name? Dark Magic palette is on sale for $9, and I have a video on that palette as well, and it's a great palette. I loved it. If it's your kind of color stories, just want to make sure that you're not missing out on that. Beauty Bay is also having a lot of curated glam boxes and even a mystery box. I think the mystery box was $40. I don't know about the details of the mystery box to mention it here, but you can go look on their website, and a lot of bundles of different palettes mixed and matched for you to be able to buy whatever you're interested in. And they have simplified cyber deals on their website. You can see like what are the items that are 40% off, what are the items that are 30% off, and so on. Just wanted to mention that because I did not mention this in my sales video, and the sale is still going on, folks, if you are interested in things from Beauty Bay. Also on their page, it says you can take an extra 12% off when you spend more than $90 with the code SAVE12. I'm guessing all the other deals are already automatically applied, so you can also add this to stack it on top of all the other discounts. Another thing I wanted to talk about is Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. I didn't mention their sale in my last video. They're having a 50% off site-wide. Folks, their Vigorously eyeshadow palette I talked about in one of my past to buy or not to buy videos. That palette totally caught my eyes, and I even added it to cart. The palette is $50. Adding it to cart with 50% off would have been $25, which I think is worth for a palette this size, although we've talked about it in this channel many times that there are definitely dupes in this palette. But friends, I held back. And the reason I held back is that the more I looked at this palette, the more I realized it looks so similar to that palette by GlamLite, the ice cream palette, or is it Ice Cream Dream palette or something like that. It looks so similar to that. And friends, I have that palette and I really like that palette. I haven't used that palette as much as I should just because I own a billion palettes. And every time I see a palette that kind of reminds me of that palette, it reminds me that I should bring that palette out and use it more often. So I think that might be what I'm going to end up doing. I think it was towards the end of 2020 when that palette came out, and it was very different and innovative for its time. But then since then, we've been seeing a lot of brands come out with similar palettes, which is part of the reason why I'm like, I already have that palette. Do I need this palette that's literally a dupe of that? So passing on Vigorously, I did a lot of shopping, and there's still a couple of things that I haven't picked up that I'm intending to pick up during this Black Friday sale, which is part of the reason why I'm not going to pick anything up from Playing in Makeup by Yolondo this time, but it's definitely one of those brands that I have my eyes on. Another thing that I also did not mention in my last video, the sales video, is that Clionadh has added some new things to their collection for this Black Friday. I'm thinking these might be available after Black Friday as well, but don't quote me on it. One is a trio of 3 round pans. Friends, I picked this up, so stay tuned for it. I think I mentioned their curated 9 pans in my last video, but they also added a Slick-adelic collection bundle for their nail lacquers. And friends, this is a bundle of 8 nail lacquers that are all multichrome, and they look divine. They are a little pricey. I suppose I'm a cheap person, and the thought of paying more than $6-7 for nail polish is a little bit painful. But honestly, with things that are this beautiful, maybe it's worth it. The thing though is that I'm always wearing press-ons, so I don't as much get the opportunity to put nail polish on, although I sometimes put press-ons that you can put nail polish on. I have definitely looked at this bundle multiple times. I do want to mention, I bought the Dragon Fruit collection, the whole collection at launch, and it came with 2 multichrome nail lacquers, and friends, they are so beautiful. But of course, I don't expect anything different from Clionadh. So I can't promise I'm not going to put a second order but we'll see. Moving on to the next thing, I mentioned in my Black Friday sales video that I don't know the deals for Juvia's place, and since then they have revealed that they have a 50% off site-wide deal going on. And friends, I got an email about this, I want to say at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. really early in the morning. I'm still a little jet lagged from coming back from my trip, so I wake up really early in the morning. And I saw this and I immediately went on their website and I bought a couple of things. And you know what I did? They came out with a new palette called Fula palette that is $10. And I added that to cart. So stay tuned for that coming up in this channel. I'm planning on having a video showcasing everything I picked up for Black Friday. So stay tuned for that, but I'm definitely excited about this palette. I mean, $10 is such a steal. Also, a lot of other palettes by Juvia's Place are $10. I'm going to be using this palette today. And in fact, I'm going to get into the eye look right now. And I think this palette is also for $10, but a lot of their palettes are on their website for $10 or less. Let me jump into this pink. I'm going to put it in my crease. Friends, the next thing I want to talk about is Ace Beauté. Separate from the deal we already talked about in the sales video, they have come out with two palettes that are going to launch tomorrow from the time I'm filming. So on Monday, Cyber Monday, Monday the 28th of November at noon Central Time, which is my time zone. These two palettes are beautiful and very colorful, so pretty much up my alley. The green one kind of reminded me of GlamLite Scooby-Doo, the green palette from that collection. And then the purple one, friends. The purple one, if you look at Palettopoly, the palette they released 2-3 months ago that was very large and came with a game, this purple palette already exists in that Palettopoly palette. So you can take, if you take 3 or 4 of the rows of Palettopoly, you're gonna get the same colors as this purple palette. So if you already own that palette, do you really need this one? Probably not. Folks, if it were me and I was choosing, I would just pay the $30. Palettopoly is right now on sale for $30. I would just pay and buy that palette and then add, you know, someone's code on top of it to get even additional discounts on top of it. You can do that on Ace Beauté if you're shopping. So on top of the Black Friday deal, you can use someone's code and get more money off. So if I wanted this palette, I would just buy that one, but I wasn't planning on buying either of these, but just letting you know, because these colors aren't going to look different on your eyes. Just saying. Their green palette looks very pretty, although folks, I already own their, is that an Oceanic palette? The palette they released some years ago that is blue and green combination. I already own that palette and I already love that palette. I feel like buying this palette is going to stop me from using that palette, and I don't have any incentive for doing that. At this point in time, I don't want to buy yet another eyeshadow palette that has mattes and shimmers. I want to buy different new formulas. I would want to spend my money buying singles that are very different. Friends, did Clionadh release a new multichrome single called Solder? I saw it on their website and I'm thinking to myself, how did I miss this? I forgot to mention that in the Clionadh section, but I looked at it on their website. It shows up under new. It's not bundled with anything else. Clionadh had sent an email about their Black Friday releases, and in there it said if you spend more than $150 of Canadian dollars on their website, you're going to get their new multichrome shade for free. Are they going to send me this shade? Because I already shopped more than 150 Canadian dollars because I would love to have this shade. In fact, I would go buy it if they're not going to send it to me. So back to Ace Beauté. I'm not going to pick up this green and blue palette, although it looks beautiful, because I already have these colors in the Oceanic palette. Martine or Martine Cosmetics is coming out with a new palette. And before talking about that, I'm going to jump into this color called Candice, and I'm going to put it in my outer V area. I think this is an interesting palette during Christmas time. You know, it has a lot of the Christmas colors, greens and reds and burgundies and so on. I'm not going to pick this up. I was a lot more excited about their last palette, the Triple X palette, and that color story was a lot more up my alley. This is a little bit like, okay, I can see Christmas in here. I'm planning on not picking anything up until probably February timeline. So I'm thinking end of January. After Black Friday is done, I will only purchase things that I think this is extremely unique, and this is my last chance to have this item. This palette is going to come out on December 2nd at noon Eastern Standard Time with 18 shades, 11 shimmers, and 7 mattes. However, friends, I've heard pretty good things about Martine Cosmetics if this is your color story. The next thing I want to talk about is something I saw on Makeup Release Radar, their site on Instagram. I did not know about this brand. This is called Bitter Lace Beauty, and I looked up on their website. It seems like they do a lot of multicolored shimmers and highlighters and things like that. Not my thing, but this is very beautiful. And the reason it's not my thing is because I usually wear makeup to work, and not all offices are that friendly to having purple highlighter on your face, right? Also, separate from that, I have a lot of highlighters, and I just don't use highlighters that often, so probably not for me. I do use a lot of my highlighters for inner corners for the eyes or brow bone, so that's another way these can be used as well. I also just purchased a whole lot of makeup during Black Friday sale, so don't have money for things that are a maybe. These are $25 each. That's another thing, they're a little pricey. Again, if highlighters were your thing, yeah, $25 made sense, but if you're just buying it to see, I wouldn't want to pay $25. Friends, the next thing I want to talk about is super cute. I really like this one. I saw it on Instagram. GlamLite is doing a collaboration with Strawberry Shortcake. I don't exactly know if Strawberry Shortcake is like a cartoon or not, but when I was a child, I had a music box that was Strawberry Shortcake themed. So it had sort of Strawberry Shortcake stuff on it, and it also had a Strawberry Shortcake doll inside of it. So I'm kind of familiar with Strawberry Shortcake, and I find everything about it super cute. It's interesting because this palette is also kind of red to greens to whites and pinks, which is kind of the same as that Martine Cosmetics palette. However, between the two, I would be more drawn to this one, possibly because of the Strawberry Shortcake. Also, strawberries are totally my thing. I love berries of all kinds, raspberries particularly. The thing though is that I just spent a lot of money. So if I had not bought a lot of stuff during this Black Friday sale, and this would have come out in spring, I would totally be picking this up. GlamLite, why didn't you release this in spring? Because these are spring colors. Like, what is going on over there? I feel like this should have come out in like February, March. So if this isn't coming out in February, March, I'm curious to know what they're gonna have coming out in February, March, you know? Because right now I would imagine you would come out with very wintry color stories and whites and blues and things like that. Not, this is a very spring color story, pinks to reds and greens. It is what it is. It's coming out now, and I'm probably not gonna pick anything up from this collection. And talking about wintry color stories, MBA Cosmetics is coming out with another 12 pan. They have revealed part of the palette, and folks, this palette looks beautiful. I mean, the part that they have revealed, I'm guessing from the packaging and from the part that's revealed that the rest of it is also going to be in the same kind of color zone. Maybe it's going to have some greens, but probably purples, magenta purples. This is a beautiful color story, friends, and this to me is a winter color story. I don't know when it's coming out. It says coming soon. I like to say that I'm not going to pick this up. Yes, I like to say that I'm going to stay true to my promise to myself and not cheat and pick this up. It's gonna have mattes, shimmers, and duochromes. And friends, don't forget to use someone's code. Again, I can't say this enough. I say it every time. If you're buying anything from any of these brands, try to stack someone's code on top of whatever deal they're having, because it's gonna work for some items. Now I'm gonna pick a flat brush and go into Canvas again and do my lower lash line. Friends, we talked about Menagerie Cosmetics a couple of weeks ago and the fact that they were redoing their Killer Fur palette. I haven't picked that palette up yet, but it's available on their website. And as I mentioned, that is still something that's on my list of possible pickups. But they're having 2 new palettes released, 9 pans. They're $35 each and they're already available. I'm pretty sure I did not talk about this in my last to buy or not to buy. These are called Paws and Claws. I don't think I'm gonna pick anything up because of everything that I just mentioned. Is this something so special for me to pick up right now? Not really. So I'm probably gonna pass. But if you're excited about this and if you've tried Menagerie Cosmetics before, let me know your thoughts on this brand. Friends, I've never tried Menagerie. It seems like there's also 2 buttons of the image on the palette that they have. I don't know if they're selling these buttons or if it's gonna come with the palette, but they're both super cute. Next thing I want to talk about, friends, is additional lip colors from Notoriously Morbid. We've talked about some of their past lip stuff before, and now they're coming out with 5 new Mystic lip products. And folks, both green ones. The top one looks like a copper to gold to green, and I would wear that color in anything. I would even dye my hair that color if I could. I would totally wear that color in an outfit and it would look so good on me. I would wear, obviously, eyeshadow in that color. Do I have an eyeshadow in that color? Folks, if you know that multichrome in any brand, let me know. So dark green to gold to copper, or dark green to lime green to gold to copper. I feel like I probably have it in one of my Clionadh Pheromones and so on. But that color is lovely, same as their other green color. I've never used Notoriously Morbid. I don't own anything by them, but if you've used them, share with us in the comments below. Do these look like what they look like in the photo? Because I wonder, like, if I buy this, because I would consider buying this if I know it's gonna look like that. So I'm curious, let us know. And these are already available. They're released on Black Friday. I'm gonna quickly put a little bit of NYX's glitter primer on my lids. I'm just tapping it here. Friends, the next thing I want to talk about is BPerfect. It seems like they finally decided to listen to people and release smaller palettes. So they're releasing 2 9 pans and some brush sets. Both 9 pans are super neutral, not up my alley. There's a cold neutral and a warm neutral. They're also releasing an eye pencil bundle. It seems like the whole bundle, including everything, is available for $54.41. Oh, friends, this is a Black Friday bundle. So I think it's still available. And I'm going to go into this color called Luna. This is a super, super beautiful, very wet looking pink to gold. And I'm going to put this closer to my inner corner. And now I'm going to go into this color, Nebula. This is just a very creamy purple. I'm going to put this where the 2 colors meet, just at the center here. I'm going to brush it a little bit more towards my outer V area. Friends, I absolutely love Gloss Gods, fantastic brand. And the reason we use them today is because of the next thing I want to talk about, which is that they're coming out with a new palette. I briefly talked about it in my Black Friday sales video, but back then they hadn't fully released the reveal with photos and everything, and now they have. And this palette looks so beautiful. And I'm not a neutral lover, and that's what I'm saying. It looks to me like it has at least 1 multichrome. If they were an American brand and I knew I don't have to pay a lot for shipping, I would totally pick up this palette, because I still, believe it or not, after so many years, have my eyes on blowing smokes. Is it smoking mirrors or blowing smokes? The ColourPop 9 pan that is grays and black, because that palette used to be called one name and then they changed it to the other one. I don't remember if the original name was blowing smokes or the name after the change became blowing smokes. That color range is a color range I don't own, because grays is not something that normally exists in palettes. And that is part of the reason I'm interested in it, because it is something that is very different. The whole silver to gunmetal to grayish shimmer is something that is very interesting, and it's not done frequently. In fact, friends, this palette that I used last time in my video, this is Dawn of Fall palette by MBA Cosmetics. If you remember, this color was all dried up and I couldn't even get any color off. I managed to revive it with alcohol, and this color is just so beautiful. Let me see if I can swatch it for you. This color is that gunmetal, is that super beautiful gunmetal. It's a little bit grainy and it has a lot of fallout, which I think is part of the reason why it was not swatching and it had dried up. But it's a very interesting color. It sort of has a very small hint of blue. Let me see if you can see it in my finger. It has like a tad hue of blue. These are colors that are not frequently done, which is part of what is drawing me to this palette by Gloss Gods. Let's talk about the palette. It is a 12 pan called Smoke and Mirrors, 6 mattes, 6 shimmers. It is available for $38. And folks, $38 for Gloss Gods quality, I mean, you're seeing it on my eyes. It is just fantastic. I already have some other videos from Gloss Gods on my channel too, if you're curious. But this is totally something I would pick up. Also, you can probably use someone's code on top of whatever the price of this is to get money off as well. So don't forget to do that if you're interested in picking it up. Let's switch gears to Luxie Beauty. We haven't talked about Luxie in a while. They're having sort of a holiday time singles release again. I think Luxie is just known for their single bundles. I don't think they've ever had a palette, to my knowledge. Maybe they have, but it has been long enough ago that I don't know. This bundle is of 7 colors. It's called Spirits and Sparkles, and the names are very Christmas themed: champagne punch, jingle juice, sugar and spice, Jack Frost, mistletoe meetup, and so on. So obviously this is for Christmas time. At this point in time, I'm not interested in purchasing anything from Luxie, primarily because I purchased, I think, 2 or 3 of their bundles and a lot of their singles during Labor Day sale that I haven't even had a chance to really use. So I'm probably not going to pick anything new from them until I use everything that I've purchased from them before at least once, swatching them, maybe featuring them in a video. In fact, let me know in the comments box below if you're curious for me to swatch my Luxie Beauty singles. I could do a video swatching all the singles that are still available. Obviously, it would make no sense to swatch singles that are no longer available. But let me know if that is something you would like to see. In my last video, I asked you if you wanted me to swatch things, and I got some yeses. So I'm going to be doing a lot of these swatch videos in the upcoming weeks, which is also part of the reason why I'm not going to buy a lot of palettes, because I'm not going to have time. If I'm doing swatch videos, I'm not going to have time to do palette reviews or as many palette reviews. I still have a lot of stuff I've just bought that I'm going to be reviewing, but on top of that, let's talk about Ensley Rain Cosmetics. I've talked about one of their palettes some weeks ago. They're now having a 25 pan palette. What caught my attention to this palette is that this palette is supposed to have 2 multichromes. I think the last palette I reviewed from them also had some multichromes, which was part of the reason why I featured it. This palette's called Cosmic Dreamer. I have seen it come up a lot in my Instagram feed, so wanted to make sure I talk about it just in case this is something you're interested in. From what I see, 90% of the palette is neutrals, so I'm not interested in it. Also, it's a little large. another reason why I'm not interested. A palette this large I would only purchase if it's very special or if it has colorful themes. This one I talked about in my Black Friday sales video, the two palette releases from Lethal Cosmetics. They're both available at this point in time, and I still have my eyes on Evergreen palette, as I mentioned in that video. Do I want to bite the bullet and purchase this for $56? I don't know. Just because I've purchased a lot of things right now, if this had come out at a different time of the year where I hadn't just spent multiples of hundreds of dollars buying different makeup items, maybe I would buy it. But right now, I've already spent a lot of money on other things that I wanted more than this, so I don't know. The red palette is also very beautiful. This kind of color theme I call a sunset palette, which is, you know, burgundies to golds to yellows to sometimes even purples. Sunset or sunrise, either one. It's just that I don't know if I need another one of the palettes that have this theme. We've seen a lot of these kinds of palettes as far back as, I want to say, 2018. Friends, I saw BPerfect, the large palettes of BPerfect in Hungary, in Budapest, in the stores. There's a store called Martine, which is a French Ulta equivalent where you can find makeup. And I went in there just to see if they have the Carnival Interstellar palette. I was thinking about swatching it, and I thought maybe in a moment of insanity I end up picking it up. Thankfully they didn't have it. They actually had a lot of really old palettes and you could swatch them. But anyway, just wanted to mention that if you live in Europe, you can buy this brand in stores in many places. I'm going to quickly go back into this color and just blend this area out just to make sure it's very well blended. Friends, the next thing I want to talk about is the collab between NYX and Avatar 2, the movie. This collab has a lot of things in it. There's going to be a 20 half pan color palette and 4 full pans. So I think it's 24 pans overall, kind of, for $40. There is going to be a face palette with 4 blushes and 2 highlighters for $25. There are 3 BioLume sticks. I think these are just sticks that have particular colors and you can use them however you want for blush or highlighter or other things, because one of them is kind of green. Those are in 3 shades and $15 each. There's going to be 3 lip glosses, $9 a piece. There are 2 lipsticks, $10 a piece or $11 a piece. And then there is a Metkaina Mist, and I have no clue what that is. This is going to be available December 1st. Those lip glosses look very interesting. I would have thought those are liquid eyeshadow if they hadn't described that these are lip glosses. I love NYX, and some of the items in this collection definitely have me looking, but I just spent a lot of money, so I'm probably not going to pick anything up. But the things that have me looking are actually the lipsticks, obviously. Did I even have to say that? And then the BioLume sticks, particularly the green one. I'm so interested in that. I don't know what these are meant to be used for, but I would use them for eyeshadow, enhancing my eyeshadows. And then, friends, before I go to the last item, let me quickly do my inner corner. I'm gonna go into this color called New Moon. This is one of those sheer duo multichromes. And this one has a gold shift, so it's gonna add a very different feel to this eye look. If you wanted to keep it in the same kind of color range, you could probably use a different color in this palette as well, like Moon Landing, for example. But I kind of wanted to add an oomph to the look. You see that's kind of green. And friends, last but not least, of course, we couldn't talk about everything without talking about ColourPop. They are releasing yet another collab with Disney called It's a Small World. And friends, I like this one. I can't believe I'm saying that. I really like this one. And the reason I can't believe I'm saying that is because ColourPop hasn't really released a whole lot of things I have had my eyes on for half a hot second, and I just have to stop myself there because that's actually not true. Both the Marielle and the Troublemaker palettes I really liked. In fact, it was very hard for me to stop myself from buying the Troublemaker palette this past sale. I did pick up Matte About You from ColourPop among a bunch of other things that I wanted. You're all gonna see that in my video talking about what I picked up during Black Friday sales. This collection is gonna have a 12 pan. The pans are not gonna be in the normal standard, either round or square pans. It's gonna be a mix. Okay, I can live with that, I suppose. The color story is nice. I like the color story. It's gonna have 2 Super Shock highlighters and 4 glossy lip satin items and 3 powder blush items. I really like the powder blushes. I have a lot of blushes though, friends. Otherwise, this would be picked up. I also like the lip set. Why? Because I like lip sets. But yeah, overall, I like this release. I could see myself pick something up, but not now. Maybe during the January sales. If I remember correctly, ColourPop does have a sale in Jan. Don't forget to use someone's code. You can get percentage off on ColourPop using someone's code. Maybe not during the sale, but generally, this is gonna launch December 1st. Okay, friends, my eye look is done. I put this color from ColourPop called Calming Circle. This is a French Kiss lip cream, and it's from one of the Hocus Pocus collections. I put it on my lips. And with that said, we come to the end of this week's To Buy or Not to Buy video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. Handle is in the description box below. And you can tag me on Instagram in the different items that are posted that you want me to review or feature in future To Buy or Not to Buy videos. Thanks again. As always, I love you all. Have a fantastic break, and until next time, bye.